know we were elated to say bye-bye to the dumpster fire that was 2020. This past year was anything but easy, especially when you're raising a toddler and trying to stay motivated. Not to mention sane. But I did manage to consume a lot of great media in 2020. From films to binging TV shows, reading books, and even playing video games. And today on Watchwoman, I want to share with you my top 10 picks for 2020. And I want to preface this by saying that there are a lot of things that came out in 2020 that I just didn't have time to experience. Films such as Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and Pieces of a Woman. I'm also not finished with The Crown. I'm only on season 2. There are a bajillion books I didn't get to read. And if one more person tells me to watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV, I might lose my mind. So now that my anxiety is spiking with all the things that I already have to do in 2021, let's get to the episode. I want to start with 5 honorable mentions. These are things that would have made my list if I had time to do a longer episode. In no particular order, starting with Soul. Pixar's latest film does not disappoint. Stock up on the tissues for this one. The Last Dance. MJ was a beast. Reliving the infamous Bulls games brought me back to a much simpler time. Miss Americana. This Taylor Swift documentary shed new light on an artist I was already rooting for. The book Where the Crawdads Sing. One of the 3 books I got to read all year. I couldn't put it down, and I'm stoked that Normal People's Daisy Edgar Jones will be playing the main character in the film adaptation. Another Round. Mads Mikkelsen is a force, and I loved this dramatic indie that came out of Denmark this year. All right, now it's time for the official top 10 countdown. So in my best American Idol Ryan Seacrest voice, dim the lights, and here we go. Coming in at number 10 is a special episode of HBO's Euphoria titled Trouble Don't Always Last. The contained episode was released on December 6th as a welcome treat for fans who are very patiently waiting for season 2. Season 1 wrapped in August of 2019, so it has been a long time since we saw Zendaya act her ass off as a drug-addicted teen named Rue. In this special episode, she has a brief encounter with Jules, the woman she loves. And then the rest of the episode, she's at a diner opposite her sponsor Ali, played by Coleman Domingo. They spend an hour talking about addiction, faith, and redemption over a plate of pancakes on Christmas Eve. The dialogue in this episode is so authentic. All I kept thinking is, how in the hell did they memorize all this? It is an hour straight of dialogue. It's like a master class of acting or a 2-person play that you just can't tear your eyes away from.
The point is your sobriety.
Yeah. And like finding an emotional balance, you know?
It was an all-consuming episode that will remind fans why they fell in love with the series. Rumors are season 2 will start filming in early 2021 with a hopeful release date in late 2021. For now, you can catch this special episode and one more special episode on January 24th on HBO Max. Number 9 is a first feature film by Rada Blank. The 40-year-old version was written, directed, and starring Blank, and it is now streaming on Netflix. And no, I did not say 40-year-old virgin. These are 2 very different films, even though their titles are very similar. I was really impressed with this film. It was hard to believe it was a first-time feature for Rada Blank. In the film, Rada is a down-on-her-luck New York playwright who is desperate for a breakthrough before turning 40. She reinvents herself as rapper Rodimus Prime and teeters between the worlds of hip-hop and theater in order to find her true voice.
Think about me doing hip-hop.
Doing what to it?
I want to make a mixtape about the 40-year-old woman's point of view.
The film not only tackles the concept of not being where you want to be at a certain age, but also the struggle of being a female creative, especially a female of color. So go support the rising powerhouse that is Rada Blank. You will not regret it. Bopping into the number 8 slot is one of my favorite albums of the year, Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. This is the second album for the uber-talented Dua Lipa. Her first self-titled debut album had hits on it such as New Rules, which played on the radio nonstop, and my favorite from that album, IDGAF, which stands for I Don't Give a Fuck, just in case you didn't figure that out. But Future Nostalgia blows her first album out of the water. I listened to this nonstop all summer. It's the perfect dance pop album to jam to while you're driving with your windows down. Every song is catchy, sexy, addicting. During a year of nonstop downer moments, this album really boosted my spirits. Let's hear a clip from my favorite song on the album, Cool.
And the color of the sky looking nice and nice, you know, you know, you know. Baby, I can see us in the real life, you know, you know, you got me losing all my cool, 'cause I'm burning up for you. In control of what I do, and I love the way you move. We get the heat and the thrill, 'cause you're more than any pill. Never running out of juice, when it's only me and you. You got me losing all my cool.
If you haven't already checked out Dua Lipa's work, I highly recommended you start now. I rarely watch a film I know nothing about. I'm one of those cinephiles that has to at least read a quick log line before I dive in. But with my number 7 pick, I went in completely blind. The film Shithouse won the Grand Jury Prize at South by Southwest in 2020, but it didn't get the hype or the audience it deserved because the festival went virtual literally the week everything shut down. Shithouse is written, directed, and starring Cooper Raiff. He was a theater major at Occidental College in California and decided to make a short film about the concept of a homesick college freshman. He then tweeted a link to the short to producer Jay Duplass, who saw potential and decided to back him for a feature film version. It's such a Cinderella story, and as a filmmaker myself, I'm super envious of this guy's raw talent. The film was a wonderful surprise, with really tender performances and seamless dialogue.
Stop!
What?
Just talk to me, please, just talk to me.
I am talking to you.
But it feels like you're not. Just come outside of yourself for 2 fucking seconds. Care about somebody other than yourself for 2 seconds. Why is that so fucking hard for you?
Grow the fuck up.
No, you need to grow up. You need to grow up.
I am. I've been. You're like the girl from 13 going on 30.
Jennifer Garner?
David Ehrlich of IndieWire described Shithouse as before sunrise goes to college, and I couldn't agree more. Shithouse is available to rent right now on Amazon Prime. If you're anything like me, you needed a lot of big laughs in 2020. And if you're not watching Big Mouth Season 4 to help you forget that the world is just a shitty place, then you're really doing yourself a disservice. As you can guess, my number 6 pick is Big Mouth Season 4. This show is so smart. And really disgusting at the same time. Nick Kroll is a genius, and I will physically fight anybody who disagrees with me. This season made my face hurt from laughing so hard. All the voice actors are in a steady groove, and additions like Seth Rogen, John Oliver, and Lena Waithe make it all the more sweeter. In past seasons, we've seen each character interact with a hormone monster, a depression kitty, and a shame wizard. Season 4, they brought in the anxiety mosquito, and man, does that hit home.
What the hell are you?
I'm Tito, the anxiety mosquito.
Anxiety is that feeling we get inside that there's danger all around us.
I know, he's talking about me.
2020 was an anxiety-ridden year for everyone I know, but especially for young people who didn't get to go to school or see their friends or even have a proper high school graduation. Big Mouth tells the honest, ugly truth about what it's like to be a teen. And did I mention it's hilarious? So don't be an idiot and check out Big Mouth Season 4, streaming right now on Netflix. Before the world shut down, and I didn't leave my neighborhood for months on end, I managed to check out a little indie film that came out of Sundance, and my number 5 pick, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. This film wrecked me. The film follows a pair of teen girls as they travel to New York City to get medical help after an unintended pregnancy. Both these lead actors give uninterrupted performances, and the directing by Eliza Hittman is deliberate and gritty. If this film doesn't tear you apart, you don't have a soul.
I know this is hard.
It's the most honest film I've seen about abortion, and it sheds light on how flawed our healthcare system is when it comes to helping young women in need. It was refreshing to see a grounded and character-driven story about this hot-button issue. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always is streaming on HBO Max. I've been a Mariah Carey fan since I can remember. I must have watched her 1992 MTV Unplugged performance 100 times when I was 9. Since social media wasn't a thing till I was in college, I didn't know that much about her personal life. Anything I knew I had read in Cosmopolitan magazine or I had seen on TV interviews. So you can imagine how thrilled I was when I heard she was putting out a memoir in 2020. My number 4 pick is her book titled The Meaning of Mariah Carey. After reading her book, I realized I knew almost nothing about her. She had a crazy and tragic childhood, and an even crazier marriage to former music mogul Tommy Mottola. Her song, My All, is about Derek Jeter. I had no idea.
I'd risk my life to feel your body next to mine, 'cause I can't go
is so well written, and it took me so far down memory lane when she dove into so many of her hits and why she wrote them. Everything from Hero to We Belong Together to Fantasy featuring Old Dirty Bastard. As I read along, I could still remember every lyric of these classic songs. I miss driving to high school, eating my mini muffins, and jamming to her #1 hits. Such a simple time. This book put me back in touch with my younger self, and it made me appreciate an artist I love even more. My number 3 pick is my favorite film of 2020, Sound of Metal, starring Riz Ahmed. Give this guy an Oscar. I mean, he is the best. And he's British. Like, who knew? I first fell in love with him when he played opposite Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler back in 2014. I then watched him in HBO's limited series, The Night Of, and he took away the Emmy for that performance. Sound of Metal follows a heavy metal drummer as his life spirals into a freefall when he begins to lose his hearing. Olivia Cooke plays his girlfriend and bandmate, and she also gives a stellar performance. I was so moved by the portrayal of the deaf community in Sound of Metal. They never saw their hearing loss as something that needed to be fixed. And I have to give a shout out to the sound department of this film. They really made it a visceral experience for the audience.
Trying to save my life. Ruben, the world does keep moving. It can be a damn cruel place. But those moments of stillness.
I actually recommend watching this movie with headphones on. It helped me dive deeper into the experience. Check out Sound of Metal streaming now on Amazon Prime. We're in the home stretch with my top 2 picks of 2020. My number 2 pick is an album that I'm still obsessing over, even though it came out 6 months ago. I'm talking about Taylor Swift's Folklore. I realize I've entered into full-on crazy with how much I love this album. My husband even got me the vinyl for Christmas, and I cried the second I opened it. Hey, there's no shame in my Taylor Swift game. I've been a T-Swizz fan from the very beginning when she was a curly-hair country girl crying on her guitar. I have followed her career religiously, and I've loved seeing her transformation from one album to the next. Up until now, Red and 1989 were tied as my favorite albums of hers. Folklore has definitely surpassed both of them. Her storytelling is unparalleled, and her Easter eggs never disappoint. The fact that there is a teenage love triangle spread out over 3 songs is genius. It's like a mini movie in an album. My favorite song on the album has changed a million times, but I've settled on her number 5 track, usually reserved for her saddest song. This one is titled My Tears Ricochet. This song is clearly about her tumultuous ending with the record label Big Machine Records and the label's founder, Scott Borchetta.
And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I stayed. Look it out, my tears ricochet. And I can go anywhere I want, just not home. And you can aim for my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me in your bones. And I still talk to you when I'm screaming at the sky. And when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullaby.
I love that line. And when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullabies. It's just so good. I love you, Taylor Swift. Let's be friends. Okay, here we are. We are finally at my number 1 pick of 2020. This may come as a shock to some of you, but I played not 1, but 2 video games in 2020. And I haven't played a video game that wasn't Mario Kart at Dave & Buster's in like 15 years. I used to play GoldenEye with boys I was trying to impress in high school, but the games I played in 2020 are so far and beyond that shitty game. Although I played The Last of Us in 2020, I realized it was released in 2013. So, as you may have guessed, my number 1 pick of 2020 is The Last of Us Part 2. A game that ripped my heart out and stomped on it repeatedly until there was nothing left. I loved this game so much that I might have to name my unborn next child Ellie or Joel. My husband told me about his experience playing this game literally every second he could. He wouldn't shut up about it, and I finally decided to appease him and let him relive the game through me. Little did I know I would fall in love with the story, the characters, and the environments. It may be better than 95% of the films I've seen in the past few years. It was a huge learning curve, learning how to use the PlayStation controller. I mean, that shit is hard. But once I got the hang of it and I could shoot a bow and arrow like a boss, I was hooked. If you have the privilege of owning a PlayStation and can play this game, do yourself a favor. Stop this video and go play. Or just go online and watch all of the story moments because that is also super satisfying.
She's yours.
No. No. I don't know the first thing about this.
I promised that I'd teach you how to play.
You did.
So what do you say, tomorrow night? First lesson?
Deal.
Okay. Okay.
Do you remember the joke?
What is the downside to eating a clock? It's time consuming.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
This game puts a young gay female as the protagonist, which is awesome, period. But then it takes your mind on a wild fucking ride that I wouldn't dare spoil for you. There are rocket launches, a stunning aquarium setting, and beautiful Wyoming sunsets. I miss playing this game so much, and I wish I could go back and play it all again for the first time. My husband is going to be very excited that this is my #1 pick. You're welcome, babe. That's it for my top 10 of 2020. Hopefully 2021 will be a much better year all around. Thank you all so much for watching. What were some of your favorite things to watch and listen to in 2020? Leave your comments below. Click the subscribe button on your screen, and I will see you back here very soon for another episode of Watchwoman. Happy New Year. Bye.